Your head's like halfway cut off the screen. Thanks.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
We gotta introduce ourselves, okay?
I'm Micah Hiles, your host. And this is Ashlee Hiles, your co-host.
I don't know what to say next. We met on a dating app. We both did a little swipe right. We started messaging.
I don't know how I got her to swipe right on me. I think I paid for like the premium subscription to Bumble to make my pictures look extra good or something. I don't know.
No, I thought he was cute. I thought he was really cute. You came to visit me.
We called on Skype first.
Yes.
And then we went to some kind of breakfast. We hit it off. We went to the zoo because things went well. It was a great first date. That's our love story.
Well, no, that's not it. That's just like how we
okay.
met. We got married November of 2020, and we're just as in love as when we started.
Just as in love. You know, the second month of marriage was probably the hardest for us.
I was like, what have I gotten myself into?
It was just getting to know each other, our habits, and what buttons we can press on each other, which are a lot. We got through that, and we're stronger than ever. And I don't know who's gonna believe that, but no, we are though. We are.
Can we get started with questions? Let's do this.
Okay. Ashlee, when dating, how did you decide what to share and when? How soon do you dump your chronic illness life story on your date?
Especially dating online. It was really important for me not to... You hear the cats in the back. It was really important for me not to surprise my date with the fact that I had all of these health issues. At the time that I started online dating, I had just relearned to walk again. And so there were still times that I was using my wheelchair. I didn't want them to be surprised by that. How quickly did I tell you?
It was like right away.
I was pretty quick about it. And it was very general. Like, I just left it general, right?
She had a picture of herself in a wheelchair on our dating profile. She brought it up naturally before we first met.
I didn't go into a lot of detail, and then I really left it up to him to ask questions. I remember like on our Skype date, you asked quite a few questions. I'm an open book when it comes to my health, so I was happy to answer those. Then just over the course of dating, more and more things came out.
I guess if somebody were to ask me for advice on that topic, don't hide it. I'm glad she had a picture of herself in a wheelchair.
Some people just can't handle chronic illness. That's another reason why you don't want to hide it, because you don't want to ultimately date someone or be with someone who can't handle it. Like, you're wasting your time. We're not saying to just dump it all on them on the very first date, but don't hide it either. Next question. My turn. Micah, how do you handle when Ashlee has embarrassing symptoms or health stuff in front of you?
Plug your nose. And that's a little TMI. It doesn't bother me.
I would say you handle my embarrassing / gross symptoms very, very well. You just do what needs to be done.
Servant's heart. All right, next question.
How do you deal with a caregiver spouse getting sick in the middle of a chronically ill spouse's flare and you're both sick at the same time?
Okay.
Oh boy.
I've got a life hack for y'all.
Oh boy.
If you have parents in the area, if you have friends in the area, that is so helpful because they can bring you groceries.
Or even a church family.
That's absolutely tremendously helpful. It's one of those things that you just have to power through, especially if you have kids that rely on you and you don't have family or friends in the area.
When you get married, you promise to care for each other in sickness and in health. And that's not just for the caregiver spouse, that's for the chronically ill spouse.
Yeah.
As well. Okay, next question.
All right.
Ashlee, how do you handle the fact that your spouse will potentially never know the pre-sick version of you and the feeling that they're missing out on knowing a piece of you? I thought about the fact that Micah would never know what I was like before I got sick, but it wasn't ever something that I intensely struggled with. I'm still the same person I was before, but I'm also stronger than I was before. My faith is stronger than it was before. I'm mentally stronger than I was before. Like, there's been so much growth that has happened as a result of my chronic illness, where I have matured in so many ways that he's now getting the benefit of.
I mean, it would be great if you didn't have a chronic illness, but I'm really glad to know the person that you are today. You've got to love the spouse that your spouse is.
Which of you is the better cook? You better say me.
I mean,
know.
At the beginning of our marriage, I was cooking all the time.
No, you
And
were
it was
not.
Pretty darn tasty.
You were cooking a lot, but not all the time.
Okay, well, we cooked a lot together. I'll say that you're the better cook.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
How did you both navigate the change of caregiver pre-relationship to that of your spouse? Oh.
You looked funny. So I got sick when I was a freshman in college. I moved home with my parents. So for 4 or 5 years there, my parents and my sister were my full-time caregivers. It was pretty soon after we got married that my health went downhill really fast, and I was having seizures upwards of 20 times a day. He had to jump into the caregiver role immediately. I loved the fact that he was now the one taking care of me, but there is a sense of frustration that can sometimes go along, because I was essentially teaching him how to take care of me, and it wasn't just as simple and natural as it was when I was relying on my family. They had done it for years, and he's just now stepping into it. So there was that sense of frustration. It required a lot of patience and understanding and grace on my part.
I feel like I'm a natural caregiver, which kind of helps with things.
You're pretty good.
That's not to say it wasn't hard.
It was a big learning curve.
Micah, what is something you wish you could have known before dating someone with chronic illness?
No pressure.
Beats me, I'm done.
This is harder than I expected it to be. My chronic illness makes me feel like a burden or like I'm too much. How can I let someone truly get to know me when I feel that way? You have a chronic illness, yes, and that is a huge part of you. Our lives revolve around what we can do and what we can't do. And I struggled a lot with my chronic illness making me feel like a burden. But ultimately, you have to remind yourself that your chronic illness doesn't define you. It's a part of you, and it's a big part of you. Yes, absolutely, 100%, but it is not all of you. Your chronic illness does not define you. It's God, ultimately, who defines you. You are who He says you are, and He says that you are loved. He says that you're His. He says that you're chosen, that you're redeemed. It's all about perspective, right? So when you shift your perspective to think on all that God says you are, where you know in your heart that you are not defined by your chronic illness, it opens up the door to letting someone in and to allowing people to get to know you for who you really are. Do you have any pets? Let me go get them.
Oh, my belly just showed.
These are our cats. This is Oliver.
And this is Maggie.
Hi. This is Maggie.
And this is Oliver.
These are our 2 cats, Maggie and Oliver. Ashley, do you ever struggle with feelings of guilt regarding being the sick one in the relationship? For example, being the one to limit outings, not being able to do things your partner can do, etc. I was blessed to marry a big homebody.
Have you seen this bod? No, I'm a homebody.
That's not, I didn't mean
I'm a chunky monkey.
I didn't mean your physical body.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite things to do is leave it in bed.
I do struggle with feelings of guilt when it comes to things that I feel like I should be doing or am supposed to do. Something that is really important is the fact that I married someone who doesn't shame me or blame me or call me out in any way if I'm flaring and the dishes don't get done, because he knows that I'm hurting, that I'm in a flare, that I can't do these things. And he also is very good about jumping in to help take care of things too. When I struggle with feeling like I'm not measuring up, it goes back to reminding myself of what's true. He's not shaming me or blaming me, and I know that I cannot control when I'm in a flare and when I'm not, or how long my flare lasts, what I can do when I'm in a flare, what I can't do. I can't control that, and he knows that, I know that. Giving myself the grace to be okay with resting when I need to rest, and to be okay with the fact that there's a sink full of dishes that neither one of us have been able to get to. The laundry room filling up with laundry because he never does it right, and it's just something that I need control over, so I can do it.
Airing our dirty laundry. But we did not plan that.
I don't think we've ever done that. That was hilarious. These things are gonna pile up. There are things that are not gonna get done.
I'm just so amazed that we did the at the same time. Micah, what is the most challenging part of being married to someone who's navigating life with chronic illness? You just make my life so easy. I think for me, at one point, you were stuck in this mindset of, this is my identity. And that was really hard. I felt like there was more to life for you. At the very beginning of our marriage, it was like, I'm chronically ill, this is me, this is who I am.
This is who I am forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, that was hard because I wanted you to get past that point and have a more fulfilling life than just your chronic illness, because it's not what defines you. That was difficult, but I was patient with that. And once we moved and started attending a wonderful church and had that community, it gave us things to focus on, serving others, and I feel like it gave you different perspectives. It was really helpful to have that sense of community, and I think that really helped you with shifting your focus from, this is me, I'm chronically ill, to this is me, I want to serve others. And you just have like a wonderful serving attitude, and it's been great. So that's been a real challenge, which I don't know if you knew that.
No, you never shared that with me before.
It's getting real. It's getting raw. Throw that out. Okay, go ahead.
Who's the better singer? Bonus points if you prove it.
I think we can say you are, but I'm not going to demonstrate.
No, you have to. Micah!
I'm not seeing it on camera. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
doing it.
I guess you get the next question.
Okay. This is a question for you to read.
Micah, what is it like to be in a relationship with someone who is chronically ill? Answer honestly.
I would say there's more reliance with somebody that's chronically ill. You can't drive right now because you had a seizure, and so that's been hard for you. That's been hard for me because I want you to be able to do things, but you can't. But it has its upsides. I'm Mr. Homebody over here. I have a homebody wife. The handicap placard is wonderful. Special parking for events.
Real parking spot right there.
The Lord has blessed me.
Who is the first to say, I'm sorry? Me.
Typically me. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but it's definitely me.
We're both pretty good about owning our mistakes and saying, I'm sorry.
Micah, what do you think are some of the most important characteristics to look for in a person who will be a partner to someone battling chronic illness? All right. The fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. If they have all of those, goodness, if they have all of those, you're in really good shape. To highlight some of the most important characteristics: patience. You definitely want patience. Gentleness. That's super important, especially with depression. You need to be gentle with what you say to that person because it can really hurt the person. If they're depressed and you say, "Why are you in bed today?" That's terrible. Gentleness and patience and kindness, these are all important things that need to be displayed. And love. The last is being a servant to your wife.
I think that one of the most important characteristics to look for is someone who's strong and secure in his or her faith. Especially for those of us who are chronically ill, trials are almost a daily occurrence. And if you don't find someone who is strong in their faith, someone who doesn't have that firm foundation upon which to stand, when they experience trials, they're not going to be strong enough to help you through the trial. The opinion that nobody asked for, but I'm going to give anyways.
Which of you is the most emotional?
You.
No.
No, I think I'm the most emotional. You have your moments though.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely the one who like gets in my head about things.
I cry a lot, it seems like.
Can you talk about what healthy Christian online dating could look like with a chronic illness?
1, make sure you're in it for the right reasons. Make sure you have an end goal in mind, a purpose, and that those are virtuous.
When you download a dating app, create your profile and stuff, you are able to set filters. They vary depending on the dating app. You could set filters for your religion, geographical filters, even things like do you smoke, do you drink, like height. So when it comes to the Christian aspect, it was really important for me and for you too to make sure that we had the Christian filter selected.
The term Christianity, you have a lot of different beliefs under that banner. So you have to have some serious conversations with a person that you match with about your beliefs.
I think one of the first things that Micah and I discussed when we swiped right on each other and started chatting was our faith. Early on in our dating relationship too, there were long conversations just to make sure that we were on the same page. It was really important, and I would say it is really important for any Christian who's dating to make sure that your core beliefs align.
So, okay, we'll go to the bathroom. How do you divide up household tasks when one spouse has chronic illness and can do less than the other spouse?
Just communicating your expectations. So if you go into a marriage and you expect your husband or your wife to do this particular task, don't expect them to be a mind reader because they can't read your mind. You have to be sure that you communicate with them. You're
supposed to serve each other, and you're supposed to maintain that servant attitude. If you see a need, take the lead. Which of you is the messiest?
You.
As we're answering these questions, Ashley has a nice pile on this table, and I'm just throwing them on the ground over here, ripping them apart. So I think that proves the point.
Besides premarital counseling, how can a healthy person prepare for the challenges of being married to someone who has a chronic illness?
So let me go first.
Well, it's your question. How can a healthy person prepare?
It comes down to mindset, and you need to make sure that you are, 1, in it for the right reasons. Secondly, that you understand the full ramifications of what that illness brings and how it can affect the relationship, and you need to pray about it. Ultimately, you want to make sure you're marrying the right person. You want to make sure that that foundation is laid, that you and your spouse have a walk with God, and that your marriage can survive through sickness.
Oh, okay. Who said I love you first?
The first official time was at the Phantom of the Opera play.
It was intermission. He'd gone to get me like a water or something to drink. He had this all planned. We were just talking or something, and all of a sudden he says, I love you. My back was to him at the time, and so I like slowly turn around. I was like, what did you say? And he says, I love you. I was like, I love you too.
I was gonna do it later. I don't know what happened, but it just like slipped out of my mouth.
And he like gotten me this necklace with like a heart on it. He had this whole plan, but he got so caught up in the moment that he couldn't wait any longer, and he told me that he loved me.
Yep, and with that, our bowl is empty.
Woo! Alright, bye, Anna. Have fun editing this mess of a video. I felt like I was on my deathbed. What was the question?
Throughout that, we still were in this honeymoon-like stage, and we still are now.
What was that?
I don't know. Don't put that in. How do you navigate those feelings?
I think a big part of it is something that helps is looking at me so seriously?
How do you navigate those feelings, Ashley?
How do I navigate those feelings?
How do you navigate those feelings, Ashley?
Smack you.
See, we have to do it again because you
No,
weren't
she can
serious.
edit it.
How do you navigate those feelings, Ashley? Micah. 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 It's a gas heater. The fruit of the spirit's not a coconut.
Love and joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
So work out, guys.
And gals. TMI! Reword
Okay.
that.
Rework. Got parents watching. I'm
Don't
just
put
glad.
that in.
Don't put that in then. Don't put that in. Don't put that in the video. Okay, edit that out. But do you have anything to add? And hopefully nothing that I said is too insensitive.